What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another week of Living with Will. Thank you all so much for being here. This is one of those episodes that I can't wait for you to hear, so I'm not going to waste your time with an extended intro. If you're liking the show, please like, comment, and subscribe. Show some love. But regardless, get ready, buckle up, and stay tuned because Logik is not only an incredible artist, he's an incredible entrepreneur, businessman, and just a great guy in general. So sit back, relax, and welcome back to another week of Living with Will.
This motherfucker, the slickest one. Yeah. I was 16 when I started trapping. Wasn't even rapping. Slicker jeans got more in the fashion. My grandmother couldn't even imagine.
No
I'm happy to
question.
be here.
Awesome. Well, I start all interviews the same way. You know, we were children once upon a time. I want to know kind of where this journey began for you that, you know, you start off as a kid and now, you know, creative director at Google. So how do you get from point A to point B?
Lack of resources. Like I said, I mentioned the ceiling was really low, especially for a black kid in St. Louis. I started my journey in like Ferguson, Missouri. If you're familiar with that.
Of course.
For
For an unfortunate reason, I'm familiar with it from the protests. I wish I was familiar for a better reason.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's just coming from that environment, you just realize that a lot of answers or a lot of doors are not even in the area for you to even be aware that they exist. So my parents moved our family to the Boondocks, which is what we would call, if you ever seen the cartoons, the Boondocks, it was like Riley and Huey, two black kids moved to a white neighborhood. That's what me and my sister were. And they did it for a better education. I don't think if I moved, I would be the person I am today. But doing that, man, it just allowed for me to see that just because a particular community, the white community, just because they seemingly had more money, which I mean they did, that they weren't necessarily more liberated or that they had the answers or that they were happier because they weren't. So then it just kind of allowed for me to kind of just really paved my own path because it was like, well, they don't have it. And, this isn't what I want to do either. This isn't what this, because, you go through the whole code switching thing or whatever growing up where I'm speaking like this around my white friends and this around my black friends. And it was like, yo, this is trash because like at 17, I can foresee identity issues brewing, because you got to keep that up, right? That self-awareness is a motherfucker. So, I just kind of learned to stand on my own and just kind of, when I was able to see both sides of the tracks, it was like, well, I have nothing to lose if I just do what I like, follow my path genuinely. You know what I mean? Like, there is no right or wrong answer. No one has it figured out. So yeah, man, it was really just a lot of wanting to see more. I wanted to create my own version of Disney. I knew that none of those resources, those answers were in my vicinity. So I had to leave, man. So I came to Chicago. I used to play college basketball, but then I came to Chicago, went to art school, and I knew I just needed to be exposed around creative people. And I don't want to get too long-winded because I know you got a bunch of questions, but I just got one of my friends, Mars, he's actually here about to do a photo shoot. He was living up here from St. Louis, and he was going to Columbia, and I was playing basketball in Missouri. And when I came up here, I was the odd person in St. Louis. Like if I had Chuck Taylors on or a wallet chain, it was just like people just couldn't fathom that. You know what I mean? It was like crazy. But then when I came to Chicago, I was like just a drop in the bucket. I was just a regular person. And it was the most inspiring thing ever because I saw people making music. I saw an Asian girl with tattoos and I heard different colors. I was like, what is going on with this? You know what I mean? So it's like, I knew that it was an environment that I had to be a part of and that I could grow in. So, and from there, man, I just knew. And I guess that access that I said I lacked where I was from, whether it was galleries or being at the seat at the table with people making decisions, and actually you start to see how much is money really, like you really get to working in advertising and tech, you realize that $50,000, is not really a lot or 60. And it wasn't necessarily about that, but money is power. And it was just all these things, man. It was just, it was a motivator. It was just, and then when I get those seats at the table, I'm able to crack the door open and let my homies in, get them jobs or use those brand and agency dividends to put it back into the community or the art scene. You know what I'm saying? So it's a scratch my back, you scratch mine type of situation.
So sick. And I love how I just love how in so brief of a time you've already touched on so many different systems of oppression, whether it be classism, racism, exclusivity, gatekeeping. I mean, we have to, in different variations, people have to navigate these spaces, and it's really refreshing to hear someone who's, on their path kind of be like, yeah, I was dealing with that. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself and I'm gonna make it happen. And it's just great to see.
Man.
We all have the idea that we can do it, but I think a lot of people don't get the chance to meet people who've done it. They think they're alone. So it's cool. That's why I wanted to have you on, man. You're a fun guy. So how did dealing with all this, and how did that lead you to Google? How did you end up finessing your way and earning your way into a company and an institution like that?
It's crazy, the fact that even the idea of finessing my way into Google is a thing, because Black people only make up 4% of the tech industry, whether I guess it's Amazon or whatever, 4, maybe almost 5, but that's whatever.
It's very low.
Yes. And, I posed this question. I was like, why do I have to be extraordinary to work here? Why do I have to be this artist thing or whatever to work here? And, so with that, how I got there, man, I worked at Leo Burnett prior, which is a big agency. And there I saw it was a traditional agency. And that means that like they have an old way of thinking, especially with the Midwest and all those things. So man, I was working on tobacco, like I was working on dip. Like I don't know any Black people that dip, which is why I worked on it, because if they had hired me to work on menthol cigarettes, I wouldn't have did it, because they pretty much just advertise it to Black and Hispanic people. But so I pretty much got dipped down to a science or whatever. I had a very cynical approach or, mindset within the industry. And I just identified that it was so hard for me to pitch things that were important to me or to sell things that were important to me. And that was like not having the proper advocacy or like things that are white, cool in white culture, not necessarily what's cool in Black culture. And when you're the only one speaking a specific language, it's hard to get those things through. So man, some things happen in the building. We won't get too much into it, but it pretty much like, ideas that were insensitive to a specific group. And I flagged it. I flagged it to a point where I controlled the narrative, and I ended up getting like one-on-ones with like the CEO and like bypassing my creative directors. And I was a senior art director at the time. And I really realized that there was a lot lacking in the industry. And the thing that was lacking was understanding or the resolution of color and culture is not synonymous. Right? But it's hard for structures to think this way, especially when they're looking at the stats and numbers and all these things. But we know followers don't necessarily move culture. It's the people, it's the energy, it's the it's hard for me to tell them why this person is dope and they don't have 2 million followers, but they're making waves in the most grand, like, I don't know if you ever heard of Joe Fresh Goods or whatever. Anyways, so understanding that culture and color was not synonymous and them lacking the understanding, I pretty much picked a SWAT team of like 5 people. And then it was a Black guy that they actually got us mixed up the first like 3 or 4 months we were working together. And we had, right. And we had 3 people from Asian descent. And we created a team called Naomi. And Naomi was named after the wife of Leo Burnett. So we had this approach that we were the agency's confidant, the truth bouncing pad. You know what I'm saying? We were bringing in new clients and we were salvaging clients within the agency. So I pretty much got so busy on that they had to take me off the account that they hired me for, and they end up copywriting and everything, my trademarking my brand Naomi under the umbrella. And I was traveling and doing all these things that I wasn't doing prior. And just with my art career and me using my creativity internally, like to make stuff inside the building, I think that was what Google really liked, the innovation within a large conglomerate like Leo Burnett.
So sick.
So
And yeah, I chose my language specifically for that reason, you know, because we unfortunately see enough Black people or people of color in general, especially Black people, but we don't see women either in these tech industries. So when I get the opportunity to speak to people that are in it, I'm like, how the fuck did you find you know what I mean? Like, how did you make it work? Because they make it very difficult. Like, I don't know if they do it on purpose. And no shade to Google. I am in no way trying to put your career.
Yeah, no, you're good.
But
yeah.
These institutions, I don't think they do it on purpose, but they definitely do a good job of making it difficult for truly innovative thinkers to get there. So I'm glad that you're there. I'm glad you made it. We need you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. I definitely somebody told me the other day that I'm not an anomaly, that I'm a conundrum. That I mean, statistically, it's harder to get into work at Google than it is to get a job I mean, statistically, it's harder to get hired at Google than it is to get accepted into Harvard. So that,
I bet you felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty dope.
You're like, I'll remember that one. That's so sick.
Yeah, man.
I have to show you something. I don't think I'll send it to you afterwards, but I have a Harvard student ID. I did not go to Harvard.
That's hilarious. Did you party at Harvard ever?
I did. Did you say that I party at Harvard?
Yeah.
Yeah, once or twice.
Oh, how was it?
There's some fun people in the Cambridge area. I didn't spend too much time in Boston, but they got some fun people around there.
Okay, I would imagine.
Some people cool. So some cool people. Oh my God, that was hard for me to say. Go to MIT as well. There's some really innovative schools in that area.
Yeah, those smart kids, I'm sure they would come up with the most innovative ways to have fun.
A lot of smoking in Boston. It's a little too cold for me. I can imagine it's like that in Chicago too. I've heard horror stories about the wind there.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's the Windy City. Yeah. It's due to the politics mostly, but it's cold as shit here, bro.
Yeah. The politics are windy? How does that? What's that?
No, so the Chicago's called the Windy City, not based on the wind. It's based on the politics, the way they sway. It's always in self-interest. It's always self-interest. Yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it doesn't. This is what this is all about. We're trying to give people some information they didn't know. And one thing that I'd like to ask you, this is an amazing transition because we're gonna just blow past it. I was trying to find it in alliteration for the win. It was fine. Yeah. I did my best. So we receive a lot of words of wisdom in our lifetime, right? So people in our lives give us information that helps inform us. I'm curious to know, what are some words of wisdom that have helped inform you in your life?
My mom is actually here, but she used to always say this to me when I was a kid, when I would like be late to something. First, she was like, "You always a day late and a dollar short." Like, she would always say that. And then she would follow it up with like, and would say, "You don't want to be a shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have done that. I could have done that. I would have done that." You know, whether you're looking at somebody as a spectator or you missed out on the opportunity. And I found with that, I resonated with that a lot, because as I was always a day late and a dollar short, I found that the feeling of missing out was a lot worse than actually applying myself and seeing what the fuck is going to happen if I tried. And didn't want to never say shoulda, coulda, woulda. So I think that was one of the biggest things, man, that what my mom said, bro.
I love that. No, I mean, moms give the best advice. It's funny because it takes us a while to hear it too. I'm sure you didn't hear that when she first said it, but a few years later, you're like, fuck.
I was like, what do you mean? Yeah. I'll be straight. I'm 9. I'll be okay. No. You know what I'm saying?
Real shit though. That's when you hear it the first time. You're like 8, 9. You're like, nah, shut up, mom. Blah, blah. And then 10 years later, you're like, oh my God, my mom's a genius. Why didn't I listen? Well, I'm curious, you know, moms have incredible advice, but, you know, as we age, we start developing our own wisdom. I'm curious to know, what's some words of wisdom that you would give to, let's say, words of wisdom you give to an artist, to an entrepreneur or business person, or just wisdom for life? What are 3 different things in those areas that you would say to people?
Well, for the artist, I would say don't worry about the followers because I know social media is a pressure, and to focus on yourself, like to invest in yourself. That doesn't mean like necessarily monetarily, even though it does. It means time. It means figure out your vision, and that doesn't mean you necessarily have to know what that vision is. It's just whether it's just writing words on a piece of paper or just taking photos or doing. I did all of those things. And what it was just really love your narrative and embrace your narrative. Uh, be a fan of you should do it. You should create it to love it. And you know that when no one's on your side of the fence or on your side of the stadium cheering for you and everybody, like the stadium is empty and you being comfortable being in that empty ass stadium. And if it's three people trickle in, love those three people because those three people gonna get three other people. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, you're moving with your heart's content. You're not moving based on you're not contingent on whether people are double tapping your shit or buying your art. Is based on what you love and people waiting on what you're creating, what you're bringing to the world versus you trying to stay on trend or you trying to do these things because that's exhausting as fuck. And
so good.
Yeah, you gotta walk in your truth, dog. And then the one for the entrepreneur, what helps people helps business. When you write what helps people helps business. Leo Burnett actually said that, so I'll give a word. Shout out to Leo Burnett.
That's good.
But I keep that in mind, like when I run my own things. But I think when you help people and run business, it makes your initiative much bigger than you. It makes the product have more of a life to it. It we all about capitalism, but I think people felt everyone's about that quick return on investment, where the groundwork and just that nourishment, you know what I'm saying? The nourishing of others. If you're a lawyer, help some motherfuckers out with what you can do. You know, just give back a little bit, you know? So I think when you do that, you really start to define what your product is and what your service is. And I'm not saying be a non-for-profit, but I'm just saying like when you doing collaborations or whatever, it's like, how can other people benefit? You know what I'm saying? Versus how many dollars can I stuff in my pocket?
Oh, and then such great advice.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because I'm thinking longevity, you know, like things that help people. That's what it might not catch on right at the beginning, but you know, 5 years down the line, you'd be smooth. And then what was that third one? Oh, for
just a person, just living life, maneuvering life, the most difficult of all.
Nothing's forever. Nothing's forever, and I mean that in the most positive way ever. And I mean, take self-development is important. Being aware of yourself is important. Doing self-work is important. And that whether that's meditating, and meditating comes in different forms. It is not always a kumbaya and legs crossed style. It could be painting. It could be a walk. It could be anything. But taking those moments out to just develop oneself and really, like I travel alone. Like I spent a lot of my 20s going to countries or different cities by myself just so I can shut the fuck up and watch and listen and pay attention and see something else, right? Just so I wouldn't get so I didn't put all my chips into the bubble I was living in. So self-awareness, self-work. Yeah.
Great fucking advice, man. Those are everything that you just said. I hope everybody takes notes because when I'm editing this, I will be rewriting all of this. It's so valid though. I mean, especially one of the things that you said that really resonated with me with the meditating. I didn't realize until this year that meditation could be something you do while you walk, while you like when you read, when you're with family, you know? It's like just the act of focusing on yourself and your loved ones is in itself meditation because it's like it's for you, which is dope. It is sick. I had to resound that one time.
Yeah, no, that's real, bro. Because we shout out to the internet and access to information because, like anything, things were only coming through a limited amount of channels. So your version of whether it was voodoo, the spirit, you know, the voodoo practice, or because you just see like little zombie dolls or whatever, to like meditation and what you see on TV, that's what you can see, or So now just the internet being able to share all this information allows for us to get more of a 360 perspective.
So
yeah.
true. And you're helping me so much with these transitions. It's ridiculous. What is something that, whether it be on the internet or otherwise, that you're really excited about right now?
Man, all my homies winning. And it's like we all came up together, broke as hell, putting everybody ending up for $20 to smoke some weed, you know what I'm saying? To my homies doing photo shoots in my studio, and then with that, just coupled with that is the NFT space, because that allows for ownership to happen, and that is just changing the game. And a lot of my community isn't aware of it or doesn't know how the shit works, because it's a specific group that are early adopters, you know, like. I think a lot of people get so caught up on like, bro, we're nerds, bro. We understand what a fucking NFT and what a blockchain is. You guys got to chill out. Like, nobody knows what this shit is. You know what I mean? So I'm just excited for it, because it's allowing for people who don't have access to galleries, like the reason why I'm even working in tech or Google, to get to these tables or whatever. Because somebody offered me like $300 for my painting, bro. I was like 21, and I was like, my rent was $300. But I just knew how deep the rabbit hole went. You know what I'm saying? So I've never sold an original piece, but I was like, nah, I'd rather keep it. And it was like, even though $300 would have did so much for me, it was like, nah, man, it's my heart and soul. But the idea of it is just that I didn't know nobody who could pay for more than $300 for my artwork, but I was like, I'm gonna get there eventually. But it was just the value in just even my limited view to only see people who can afford $300 paintings says a lot at the age of 21. And with the NFT space allows for somebody who don't have to plot to do the whole advertising corporate America jug, you know what I'm saying, where they can do something crazy innovative on a blockchain, get that shit featured. I got dope work. People, you know what I'm saying? Now I saw somebody make $250,000 today on foundation. The art was okay. The art was okay. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, that gave me hope. I was like, yo, that's what it went for $250. Let my black ass get in there. You know what I'm saying? That. Like, and just the art that's gonna enter the space. After these things are going for $250,000, the art that my community is able to cultivate is gonna go crazy.
No question, man. I fully agree with that. I think once mass adoption happens, the level of art that we're going to start seeing on these spaces, like, it's going to embarrass some of the artists that are putting out work right now. But I'm excited for everyone if you're an artist making money, I'm curious. I want to ask you, you said something that you'd never sold an original piece and that you said no to that person when you were 21. Could you kind of elaborate on your rationale for that? Because I think there's a lot of artists that would be curious to know, like, what your thinking was on that.
I mean, that goes into what I was talking about earlier about like self-development, self-awareness, and like really understanding why things are the way they are. Like, you look at an artist's journey, I knew I didn't have a story. Nobody knew who I was. Like, and I know people buying into the story, or when people are investing, people looking to flip, even though they might like your work, people looking to flip. But also can you hear me okay?
There's a bit of static, but yeah, I can hear you, but there's weird, sometimes when you're like a pitch hits a certain level, there's a weird static.
How about now?
It's great.
No. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, it was just, I just knew that I saw my work in a place that wasn't someone's grandmother's living room. And then also, I knew that I had to love what I was creating in order for me to put it out, because the paintings weren't finished, even though they look finished to other people. I have paintings that I'm still working on from when I was 21 years old. And I just kept accumulating them. And I realized that I wasn't in a rush. I wasn't in a rush because you only got one time to make a first impression, and I want mine to come out swinging. Nice. And that's what it was, man. Like, I've done Complex Con, I've done a bunch of things. My art's taken me places, and I'm considered a painter or whatever, and no one owns an original piece for me. And now I'm gearing up for that, and I think this is the perfect time. It says a lot I think even because that $300, if I couldn't even put that in my story, right? Now, just even me, whatever my corporate thing, this, that, and the third, what I've done, and also this is the first original ever by me, right? Whether it's the NFT drop and I can do 2 Genesis pieces. I can do a Genesis piece on the digital world, and then following up, I can do a Genesis piece in the physical world, and I can use a blockchain to sell a second Genesis piece. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's just I was seeing this at the moment, and I'm seeing this. When I was 21, I was foreseeing this opportunity.
That's huge. I love it. It's making me reconsider some moves I made, but I don't live in the past. I'm like, fuck, man, I probably should have done that shit. Jesus.
Nah, man. That's what happened. You did what you needed to do.
Yeah, no, real shit. That's exactly the way that I try and encourage people too. It's like when you hear good advice, the thing you should do is not be caught up in the fact that you just heard it. It should be, okay, I know now. Like I'm not about to sell my shit for what it's not worth anymore. Never again, starting today.
You gotta make yourself feel good. It's like, bro, I'd rather look at it for this.
That's a great point. That's a great point. So let me ask you this: so you're at Google. Explain a little bit about what creative directing at Google is. I think a lot of people hear that title and don't know what the fuck it means at all.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, what? Do you do the homepage? I'm like, no. Can you change can you change one of those Google Doodles? No, so basically, as a creative director, my main priorities is helping brands and agencies to make better creative for our platforms like YouTube and other forms of tech that we can apply, whether it's like Google Home, like we can tie in some stuff with Google Home, like this would be great for that, this, that, and the third. So we do things like that. And also just internal things that come around. We come together to help keep the wheel moving, man. But a lot of it is like on the sales side, agencies, like I worked with Leo Burnett, like my old agency. So that's what it is. We consult and we like we find these trends to be very popular. Maybe we can apply this idea to this to really amplify what you want to say.
Sick. I'm trying to figure out what fucking project you're working on exclusively for all those ones. Like I believe in his vision. I'm gonna follow him. Awesome, man. So how did you you found the NFT space? I mean, and the NFT space is obviously a fan of yours, but how did you find your way into blockchain and the NFT world? When did that relationship start?
Shout out to Clubhouse. The crypto space I've been aware of since like 2016, bought it in about 2017. I bought it on a run up, and then when it dipped, I don't know if you were a part of that one.
I totally remember that. I thought that was the highest it would ever go.
Yeah, and I was one of those guys who were just hearing about it, like to really put some money in. And I was in Japan, and I was in Japan for like a long time, like 33 days. I wandered around Japan. And
tell us a little backstory of that. Why were you in Japan?
I'm fascinated. Actually, I have a Japanese language school called Chiba Center. We have like 100 students where we teach. It's for the Black community. We've been doing it for about a year. We have three senseis, 3 teachers. We teach 5 to 6 classes a week. I mean, we teach classes 5 to 6 days a week, and we have about 15 classes a week. And we have different levels, like new students who know nothing about the culture or the language. We have a middle, like intermediate, and we have advanced, like almost fluent speakers. That's
awesome. We'll put this in the description too, so that people can be aware of it.
Yeah, man. Okay. But the Japanese thing was just, again, it was I've been to LA a bunch of times, New York or whatever, in Middle America, all those things, Art Basel, Miami. But it was more so about now, and even Europe. But it was like, let me do something that's not like all Western culture, like Europe, London, France is like European Western cultures or whatever. And then like, or Europe, that mindset, that Eurocentric mindset, and then America. So when I went to Japan, which I got to do Africa next, somewhere in Africa, I don't want to just use it like it's just one thing. But
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, because because I want to go to Ghana, I want to go to Cameroon, I want to go to Nigeria, I want to go to I want to go to everywhere. But it was just it was before I don't go anywhere else for a long time. Like I did a job for Toyota. I did a job that never ran. I don't care. They paid me like $8,000. And I ain't never had that much money a day in my life, bro. I was like, yo, this is amazing. It's like 2018 or whatever. And I took all of that money, bro, and went to Japan. And I quit my job while I was out there because I got hired. I knew I was coming back to another job. So I quit my job like 2 weeks in, but the reason why I went was because I needed something. I needed to know that how deep does this rabbit hole go? How does someone that doesn't even speak anything close to English, French people still speak a little English or whatever, you got London right there. But in Japan, a holistic culture, it was just to get another perspective on the day-to-day life of someone. I remember being there, bro, and I saw somebody on their bike, just their biking past me. As I was scrolling on my Instagram, I looked up, I saw somebody bike past me, and I think I was in Kyoto maybe, or Osaka, and I realized that this was more interesting than what was on my phone. I just had to cleanse my social media, but I keep going on tangents, but as a kid, Dragon Ball Z, whatever, the anime, it was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But then when I went to Japan, it was like the inspiration, bro, just the visceral nature of Tokyo and Osaka, and just the different like samurais, and like they're like the cleanest place I've ever seen. Like it was, I needed to see that just so I can, I'm trying to create universal truths in my art. Like I want to be able to speak to everyone. I want to understand or kind of be able to empathize with everybody. So you can't do that just seeing one thing. You know what I mean? So just doing that, bro, it broadened my whole horizon probably like by another 70 degrees, bro. Just of acceptance, like of being able, whether it's like following trends. I started not thinking so Chicago, like everything I was taught. You start to think in trends of where you are, like, oh, it's winter, spring, fall, or whatever. This is hot, but you're only thinking in this microcosm. So when I went to Europe and Japan, and I plan to keep going, it helps me think in how time is moving for me. You know what I'm saying? So
no question, man. Japan is a place I haven't been, but I weirdly dream of it. Like I'll know I'm in Japan in my dreams, but I've never been there. So I know I have to go. I'm like, well, this is too weird. I don't dream about other places, man, but Japan, so bizarre. But so you're in Japan, and that's when your blockchain like kind of experience begins?
Yeah, because that shit tanked, bro. Because it tanked, and I needed I put like $400 in there because that's what I had. And I looked, and it went from like 17K, it was like at 14, 13K. And I had like $200 left. I was like, I needed that $200.
Yep.
So I had to take it out. So like you kind of scarred or whatever. But that was like my intro, and it was a great intro because you just kind of learn to hold. You kind of learn just what the market is, and it was like, oh, I've been burned before, and it wasn't all fucking like balloons and crayons and rainbows or whatever. So around 2000, like before the pandemic, but just started putting a little bit in, man. Started putting a little bit in. But the crypto space, the NFT space, I was aware of it towards the beginning of the year, like probably like about 7 months ago, I would say 6-7 months ago, because of Clubhouse.
So
and I heard, yeah, bro, like, but it was like early talks, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Before it was like bad rooms and shit. So I was already like looking, taking my time. And then the Beeple thing started brewing. I was like, oh, I got some time. How fast can this shit go? It was but it's cool.
Yeah, we're in it. It's funny that you got burned in 2017. I also did. Litecoin was at like 260. I'm like, yeah, this is a good investment. It'll keep going up. And it didn't. Yeah, it came down. Hopefully, luckily we both got burned then so that we could be a part of the run up now. But I am convinced, and this is not financial advice to anyone listening, but I'm convinced that we're going to get another one of those in maybe a year, maybe two, where it drops.
On Litecoin?
on all of them. I think all of them are gonna. I think Bitcoin. I think we'll see Bitcoin at 20,000 again, but then I think we'll see it at 120,000.
You think it's gonna go to $20,000? Are you serious?
Let me tell you this. This is my rationale. So 2017. Well, no, let me backtrack. 2013. I think it was when it went to 1,000, and that was like from $30 to 1,000, right? Then it crashed. And then 2016, it comes back, and now it goes to 20,000, right?
True.
Fucking nuts. And I had friends getting in. I had a friend, dude. He gave me $150 to pay me back, and he had to cash out 10 Bitcoin to pay me back. Like that. Yeah, I know, right? So sad. I think about that all the time. I'm like, I'm the worst friend ever. But so this is my rationale, right? That happened. 2016, 20,000 to 3,000. That's where it bottomed, right? And then we go from 3,000 to 50, so or 60, I guess. I think it's like 55 now. But so my theory is that we're gonna maybe see 66, 75, and then we'll see 20. I think 20 will be the next bottom. And then it's going to like 300. I don't know where it's going.
I think you might. All right, so I'm gonna say why I disagree with this whole thing.
All right, cool. Hell yeah.
It might go to 45, and I'm okay with that. I just put some in recently, but
same.
Because it wasn't as mainstream, and it wasn't adopted as much, and people weren't able to have conversations at the frequency we are now. Before in 2017, 2018, even 2019, it was all nerds, bro. It was all nerds.
Yeah.
And I'm calling myself this when I'm talking about people just on the computer, right? It was us, a particular community, right? A specific community. Now and today, bro, like even people got on through Dogecoin, which they probably thought was a stock first before they knew it was even a cryptocurrency. You have Visa accepting or creating cards for Bitcoin. You have pandemic, $1,400 stimmies. People are losing faith in the fiat. You know what I'm saying? And people are just in. And I say this. I mean, Elon just tweeted said Tesla is going to accept Bitcoin, and they're not going to exchange it for fiat.
And they bought over $1 billion of it.
So companies are either going to get with the shits or not. So what I'm saying is more people are understanding the value of Bitcoin. And have already seen that thing in 2018, 17 when that dropped, right? So people understand the dips. I think I could be, for the people who've been in the game.
You kind of,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the supports stay where people hold, and you actually start losing money as soon as you swap out the Bitcoin for the fiat. And I think people are understanding that, which is why the supports are getting higher and higher. I don't think people are looking to sell it unless they're going to throw it in Ethereum to swing it and put it back in or some crazy stuff like that, right? But I just think more people have more confidence in it, and there's more technology, like a Tesla supporting it, or more speculation that seems very righteous. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Actually, you've kind of fucked up my argument, because I think that my whole thing was that mass adoption I don't think mass adoption's happened yet, but I think you're right in the fact that institutions and people know of it. And the fact that Tesla backed it should be enough for me to change my mind. But I think this is a living with Will first. I might have changed my mind today. I think 20 might be too low. 20 might be too low.
20 might be low, bro. Because think about how many people are gonna scoop it. Like, bro, if we go 20, bro, everybody's scooping. Like, I'm putting everything in there. If we go to 20, I'm putting everything in there.
Same. I mean, that was my plan. I'm waiting for it. I saw someone,
I don't think 20.
No, I'm thinking you're right, because it's funny. This happened literally today. It dropped like 15% or whatever, 20 to 50,000, immediately back up to 55. So I'm like,
because people scooped it up.
Yeah, because they know. I think I might have to reassess that bottom. But let me ask you this. I know you're a busy man. I want to let you get back to it. I like to end these with a more, lighthearted. We're honest. It's perfect. You've been helping me so much today just with transitions. It's ridiculous. But I always like to ask this now. We're all creative people, so I feel like people have good answers for this. If you were a superhero, what superhero would you be, and what superpower would you have?
Like an existing superhero?
No, you are the super. You choose everything about it. It's your power, your name.
Oh wow.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, no, this is dope. This is dope. if I were a superhero, I would. It would probably. I guess you could take the Superman thing, like super speed and all that type of stuff. Even though Batman was like my favorite superhero, but like if it was like a real life situation, you seen the boys.
Yeah, yo, you know it's so funny you say that. I read the script. I was working at ICM at the time, and I was in the mailroom just trying to learn the entertainment business. And someone put the script on my desk. They were like, "Yo, like this script just came in. You should check it out." And it was the boys before. And it's totally different now. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick as hell. That's a dope ass moment.
Yeah, it was huge for me, especially because I didn't know it was already in production. I thought it was just a throwaway script, but I was like, they're so stupid. This is amazing.
Yeah, no, like like Homelander or whatever. So I would take that, man. But I would want. I guess you can always say like intuition. I would like to like have extreme intuition so I can discern the problems and not be swayed by people. So, because good and bad is like relative or whoever. Like, what's good for one person is completely shit for somebody else. But yeah, I would like to have like a Superman Homelander power, but be able to have like extreme like intuition to really, or like to be able to move stuff in my mind. No, I'd rather have the superpower, super speed,
sick,
see-through stuff.
You could have had both. You could have had them all. One thing I love about this question is people don't realize you create the boundaries of this question. And everyone's like, I'll fly, I'll be super speed. You're the first person to be like, I'll take super strength, super speed, and intuition.
Yeah.
You can have it all. And so what would your name be?
Logik.
Yes. That's fire. Sucking fire. Oh man, I loved it.
Like somebody robbing the bank, is like, bro, this isn't logical, bro. This isn't logical, and I just show up.
You should have said that. He's coming.
Yeah,
that's sick. That's
like
really
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
I hope that a cartoon artist could have some graphic novelists listening. I hope someone runs with that.
Oh, bro, I'm working on a cartoon.
No way.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Throwing it out. I'm putting it. I did the rough draft for it. So like the rough draft of the pitch deck. So yeah, I'm working on it. Is throwing it out in the universe.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yo, send it whenever you feel comfortable sending it out to people. Let me see it. I'll shoot it out to people as well. That's fucking. Do you have a rollout plan? Is there a date where that's coming out?
I'm speaking to my my partner just based on like investments and like studio, like really occupying a studio type stuff. So like yeah, man, like really my biggest, before we get off, my end goal, the reason why I'm at Google, or while I'm or why even not Google, but why I did this corporate track, the reason why I even did this. So one is so I don't have to paint someone's dog to stay afloat. I wanted to spend my time creating what I wanted to create. Yep. And I also use the corporate infrastructures to pay for stuff like this until I can create those things to pay for stuff like this, right? Okay, and then, but the thing is, my end goal, the reason why I do painting, the reason why I do animation, the reason why I do photography, and create experiences for people. I've seen you a video, 2-3 videos after we get off, but I'm creating a world. I'm trying to create my own version of Disney. So whether that's a theme park of not like necessarily roller coasters, but a theme park reimagined, you know what I'm saying? Or like feature films and animations and a world in which people can actually step into, whether it's on television or in real life. You know what I mean? So
sick.
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm working on.
Please keep me posted on that. And then it's funny that you mentioned that. I'm actually about to put out an episode today with a creative director at Disney. So if I can put you guys in touch, just keep me posted on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yes, you
Clubhouse.
can.
Fucking shout out to Clubhouse.
I know. My friend, she calls it Chatty House.
Yo, love it. It's straight up.
Chatty House.
It is the chattiest house on the fucking planet right now. Let me know. Let me know any. Listen, whenever that comes out, please keep me posted. But is there any projects that before we wrap this up, any projects or anything people should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, I'm actually working on my NFT, my Genesis piece. Looking to have that done in the next couple months.
Oh,
I'm really excited about it. Yeah,
Hell
man.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's what I'm really excited about. That's what I'm working on. That's what I've been having meetings. Also, I'm working on, I'm just throwing this stuff out here because these things are, fuck it. Holding myself accountable. I'm planning on having an NFT art show here too, as well.
Sick.
Damn. Yeah, I got a homie that's good that does like these screens or these type of screens. So it's like, yo, I have the space for it. Let's do NFT art show in Chicago. Let's get people exposed to NFT space in Chicago.
All right. Well, we need to talk about this off the interview because I have something I want to discuss with you on that front. On top of which, maybe we could release this as some promotion for the NFT drop.
Yeah,
this is
bro.
probably gonna come out like the first week of May, but we can talk off the interview. I'll edit this little part out, but let's talk off this about how we can help this be promotion for it. Because at this point, it's like the whole audience is NFT people.
Hey man, look.
Yeah. It's dope though. If I fell into curating a really dope NFT like roster of interviews, it's fucking sick.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you reaching out to me, man, for sure.
No question. Man, you say it like I'm the one. I should be the one who's grateful. You're fucking creative director at Google, dude. I do this for free. But listen, I want to let you go. I got 2 more quick questions for you.
Yeah, for sure.
One of which is for the NFT community, man. There's a lot of trends and culture starting there. I gotta ask you, man, what's your favorite condiment?
My favorite condiment? Whoa, that's interesting. Wow, that's dope. My favorite condiment. It probably has to be, wow, is it honey mustard?
Yes, yo, yes.
I make my own honey mustard, bro.
All right,
I take some spicy mustard, throw some spicy mustard, some Manuka honey together, bro.
Damn. Which honey? Which mustard do you use?
I don't like to do the same things twice. Like I don't never just buy the same product over and over. So I'll be getting like the little artisanal mustards, or I get bro, I just be experimenting with stuff, bro. I cook today. I cook for my homies now. But yeah, bro.
Have you ever had the Black Hat spicy mustard?
No, what's that?
It's a glass bottle. I'll send you a picture. I had it when I lived in Paris as a kid, and it was the mustard I had as a child. But they have it in the U.S. I'm gonna send you a picture of it, and next time you make your mustard, you'll use this kind. Fuck, I should know.
Parlez-vous français?
Mais bien sûr, mec. Mais j'ai vécu en France pour genre 8 ans. Do you speak French? Did you spend much time in France?
No, I only spent a week in France. I took a class when I was like in 7th grade, and my parents told me to get out and take Spanish. And then that was like one of the first times I realized I can't listen to people in my life choices. Because I hated Spanish and I love French. I was like thriving in French. And I was in Spanish class just envious of the people leaving French class.
Listen, man, anytime you said you were going to go on a trip to some of the countries in Africa, if you ever go to a French-speaking nation, I'll pull up with you and I'll be a translator.
Yeah, bro. If you go to Japan, let me know. I'll be a translator.
I was going to say, if they ever opened the classes to cisgendered white men. I need that. I need to learn it. I'm a little bit worried because I'm gonna go and I don't know shit.
Muzakashi, that's name.
Okay, man. We'll share we'll share the Japanese company. Any links you want to put in the description. We'll share all the links so that people know what you're working on. But I got one last question for you, man. I like to end all these interviews. We're right on the hour, so I'm glad I didn't try and keep you for too long, but this is it. This is the final tier, the final frontier. 30, I'm gonna set the setting for this one. There's a whole scene for this question. So 30 years from now, we're on a private island, exotic drinks, exotic fish. We're seeing some wild shit. We've minted the interview, we've made billions on it. And you're looking back, and it's 30 years from now, and it's the last question. And what would you want to hear yourself say if I was to ask, what are the final thoughts of Logik? Whether they be words of wisdom for people on their life journey, or just what would your final thoughts be to the audience?
My parents ain't have to work no more.
Fuck yes.
You feel me?
That should be everyone's goal. Thank you so much. That's fucking incredible. If you want to expand on it at all, if you want to share anything else, you're welcome. But if you want to leave on that, we can. That was dope.
ジュリアンと申します。アメリカ人でシカゴに住んでいます。あとが大好きです。よろしくお願いします。Appreciate you, bro. ありがとうございました。
Yo, so sick. Thank you so much, man. I hope one day, not even hope, I will one day be able to re-listen to this and understand that. And I'm so grateful for it.